maybe 15 to 20%.
Probably about 15.
7.5.
Estimate only about 10%.
They don't really want to have the stigma attached to going to it.
Because of the competitive environment that Cornell kind of breeds, it's one of those things where I don't want to be known as that kid with the mental health issue,
I think it's a combination of a mentality we have in the United States that individuals have to figure things out for themselves.
I just think it has a stigma attached to it.
A lot of people just go through something like depression. Something happens, a friend passes away, traumatic event happens, and people just go through times, and they need a support system. And when people automatically jump to the, oh crazy, oh psycho, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say to this person now, it's harder to reach out to people, even if they're your friends.
8.9.
It's an 8. Some days it's more like 15.
I'd have to say 9.7.
I like to think of it now as more of a therapist or somebody who you can go talk to is a brain doctor, where you need to go see a doctor for things that are happening in your body because you don't understand, and sometimes you just need to see somebody else who understands what's happening in your mind because you don't understand what's happening.
What really helps people with this counseling is hearing you're not crazy, whether it's genetic or just a biological predisposition or just something you're going through right now. You are not crazy. Everything you're experiencing is real. It's worthy of being heard. It's okay to have it, and you don't need to be ashamed.
It's just like the love, the one
Yes. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
I definitely have.
Yes.
Yes.
I got 99 problems and they out. Wish I was jiggling, carefree living, but I'm not Sean or Martin Louis. I'm the Cleveland, rolling with the Brooklyn boy. You know how I be when you start living large. I control my own life. Charles was never in charge. No sitcom can teach Scott about the drama or even explain the troubles that haunted my mom. On Christmas time, my mom Christmas grind got me most of what I wanted. How'd you do it, mom? She copped the toys I would play with in my room by myself while he by himself. He got 2 older brothers, one hood, one good. The independent older sister kept me flying when she could, but they all didn't see the little bit of sadness in me. Scotty, I've got some issues that nobody can see, and all of these emotions are pouring out of me. I bring them to the light for you. It's only right. This is the soundtrack to my life. The soundtrack to my life.